Hey there. So we're back with AP Government with a little Unit 1 review. I'm hoping this will be quick, but I doubt it will be. We'll see. We'll see what I can get through. So Unit 1 starts with kind of the theories of government in America, and it comes out of three main theories that the AP wants you to know. The first of which is like the participatory theory. This is the idea that policies and decision making are made by the people themselves, that people should participate in their government, whether it be through voting or through protests. They should be active in their decision making, and their participation influences what happens in government. A participatory democracy would emphasize broad participation in politics and civil society. The one backlash of this is the free rider problem. And I love this picture of Mr. Burns on the bike, right? Is that people that participate and do all the work and pay taxes and protest and vote, they're doing all the work and people can basically get a free ride off of that. They don't have to be involved or concerned, and they just depend on others to make decisions in society. But a participatory theory is the basis that more people should be involved, right? Thus, participatory. The second theory is the elitist theory. And I like this image because it sort of shows us that a wealthy, rich elite make all kind of the powers while the rest of us are sort of like begging for scraps, right? So I like to think that this guy represents the elite and powerful few. This could be money in politics, corporations that can influence political decisions, people that can buy power in politics. Or it could just also be like a select representative few that get to make decisions in our government. Sometimes people like to think that the Electoral College fits into this elitist theory and maybe in the beginning of our democracy, that's really what was happening, is that just a select group of powerful, wealthy people could pick our president. It's sort of evolved a little bit. We still have the problem of super delegates in Democratic primaries, for example, that these elite few get to pick whoever they want, and that counts for 15% of the population. So when we saw the participatory democracy on the previous slide, that would represent all these people at the bottom, right? That like we have to fight for our right and our recognition in a society. So in a democracy, this looks like what I said. It emphasizes sort of limited participation of the people, that our government doesn't trust the people to make decisions in our society. So they really don't get to make those big decisions like picking our president, for example. And so we have participatory, elitist, and then pluralist theory is a little bit different. Plural itself kind of means numerous or many. So pluralist theory in government means that there are several groups that can either work in opposition or together to get things done in our democracy. So take these groups, for example, Greenpeace, the National Rifle Association, ACLU, AARP, the defense industry, pharma. Some of these groups could potentially work together. I would imagine that Greenpeace and the ACLU probably work together to get some things done for the rights of the environment. But groups like maybe Pharma and AARP might work together. So this is the American Association of Retired Persons. Like retired people might need more pharmaceuticals or drugs. So they might work together on certain legislation in a democracy. But a pluralist theory kind of implies that there's some balance. And here it kind of shows that the national defense industry and the National Rifle Association are probably going to work together, right? And this is pluralism, is that there's group-based activism, non-governmental interests that try to make an impact on decision-making. So we didn't get a chance this year to talk much about interest groups, but this is kind of the idea that those groups do try to work together, that it's not just individual people or individual corporations and powerful elites, that there are actually groups that strive for activism in a democracy. So these three theories kind of set up a lot of the basis for our ideas and arguments about government. So we're going to get in this. It's always going to come back to one of these three. So you should at least have an idea of what they mean and how they play out, because you might be asked to apply them on a concept-based question. So just to reemphasize that policies and decision-making are made by groups that might form alliances, like interest groups or even political parties. I would say that the National Rifle Association and the National Defense Industrial Association definitely probably work together. So definitely work together to form alliances and to get legislation passed in our Congress.